Hello, this is David, Fairly Secret Music. Today I'm doing the 1, 2, 3 challenge that was created by Metal Mickey, where you take your favorite album by a band and so it's a first album, like Dream Theater's first album is my favorite album. And then their second album, you show the second album by a band if that's your favorite album, third album by the band if that's your favorite album, and so on and so forth. Just to see how far you can go before you have to stop. Um, I got quite a ways. I think 12 has been the longest streak of anybody, but I think I may have beaten that. But so, Dream Theater, When Dream and Day Unite, my favorite album by them. Rest in peace, Charlie Dominici. I just think this is the best sounding album, which is weird because a lot of people criticize the sound. Um, it's just the most natural sounding album they've ever done. The vocals are like 100% awesome, and I cannot say that about other albums um, after this. And you can hear John Mayung's bass. So, Dream Theater, first album, my favorite album. Last Crack, Burning Time. This is a Madison, Wisconsin band that, if you haven't heard this album, this thing is fantastic. Kind of in that whole almost Alice in Chains kind of Soundgarden kind of era, but so much better than both of those bands ever could have been. This is their second album. I'm going to give some honorable mentions or other albums, not even honorable mentions, just the albums that also are in these category, or like the second album, King's X, Sierra, Thought Industry. It was up between Thought Industry and this album to show, but I feel like people should check this out. Um, Third album, Midlakes, Courage of Others. If you like one song on this album, you will like them all. It's kind of like listening to a Candlemass album or the first Confessor album. Every song pretty much sounds similar. And in this case, it sounds like acoustic, depressing music, which is actually something that makes me super happy. Um, yeah, the best song on here is Small Mountain, so check that out. And look at that album cover. It looks like it should be a Norwegian black metal album. But so that's the third uh, album. The fourth album spot. Oh, and Don Caballero, That Burns Which Never Returns, is my another third album. I have 3 different versions of Octopus. I couldn't. It's so close to Power and the Glory Being, but this album I think will always just remain my favorite. So this is Gentle Giant, Octopus, if you cannot tell. Also in there was Saga's Worlds Apart and Foxtrot by Genesis. Fifth album, Fate's Warning, Perfect Symmetry. Just, I love this album front to back. There's not a bad thing on it. Honestly, if I was gonna take one song on here off of here, it would probably be Static X. I don't know why, but and my favorite song is World Apart. Other bands that I love their fifth album, It Bites, Transatlantic. This is the one where I could not choose just one album, and it's the sixth album by these bands: Marillion, Holidays in Eden, and Vandergraaf Generator, Still Life. Both number 6. And another reason why I'm telling you about the kind of honorable mentions is because there are so many where I have multiple things way up in the 9th and the 10th and stuff like that. It's just very weird. Number 7, decided to show REM's Out of Time. I absolutely love this album. My high school girlfriend dumped me the night I bought this album. But the funny thing is, I have no connection with this album and that relationship. It just so happened to be the greatest breakup album. Big Big Trains, English Electric Part 2, Flower Kings, Unfold the Future, Rush, Permanent Waves, and Cheap Trick, Next Positions Please are also 7th albums that I absolutely think are the best albums by those bands. This was kind of a weird one because I didn't know how to kind of figure out. And just in case you're asking, I took whatever the quote-unquote studio albums were on Wikipedia and just counted where my favorite albums were in those. So this is kind of weird because it was Gong 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 and then Pierre Morlon's Gong, but they're all considered in the same discography. So it was either this, which if you love fusion and you have not heard this album, Alan Holdsworth is on here. The second song sounds exactly like a Steve Vai song, but there's some amazing fusion playing on this. King Crimson Discipline was also number 7. This one, there were so many things for 9th album. So I decided to go with Stormbringer. This is the 2-disc version. I have never listened to this in 5.1. That is absolutely dumb. Or maybe I have. I'm not even sure. Stormbringer, just for You Can't Do It Right alone would be why I love this album. But, I mean, you have Stormbringer, Love Don't Mean a Thing, Hold On, Lady Double Dealer, Soldier of Fortune, although I do like the Opeth version of Soldier of Fortune better. What else was in, well, I'll keep this up. What else was in the 9th album favorites? Thin Lizzy, Black Rose, Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here, Clutch, Strange Cousins from the Rest, Catatonia, Dead End Kings, and Opeth's Watershed. All 9th albums. Think of that. 9th album in, and they're my favorite. There was a toss-up between this IQ Frequency and IQ Road of Bones, but I like more songs on this, so I decided this should technically be my favorite album. And whereas Road of Bones kind of gets long, the other album that was a 10th album that is my favorite was Tom Petty's Echo. My friend Mike said one day, well, how can you like that album? It's just a sad bastard album. That is the answer right there. 11th album. Beatles are kind of tricky though. So just so you know, if you're complaining you don't think this is the 11th album by them, I don't even know how to figure that shit out. I just went by the Wikipedia thing. Abbey Road. There's not a bad song on this, and it is the culmination of everything they achieve or were hoping to achieve in the studio as songwriters, as musicians, as recording artists, not as live recording artists. Another one was Road of Bones. Well, no, Road of Bones is not my favorite. Another one was Art Rock by Magnum. So that's the 11th. 12th. And I was so glad this came up as the 12th because I had to justify what I thought should be the 12th. So then this way I can not kind of cheat a little bit. So Kiss Animalize, Alone for I've Had Enough, Into the Fire. And this is why, because I honestly really do not count Queen's Flash Gordon soundtrack as a studio album, but because they do, that meant The Miracle is number 13. Had Miracle, had it been, had Animalize not been number 12, then I was going to justify not counting Flash Gordon soundtrack and then use Gravedigger, Liberty or Death, because that's my favorite, and that's their 13th album. But Queen, The Miracle, if you like this album and you have not gotten this, get this 2-disc version, because all of the bonus tracks and the demos and stuff are so worth it. It's so good. I was thinking I was going to be disappointed. This is the most worthy 2-disc set that I can ever really think of, where it's just demos and studio outtakes, because if you love this album, you will love that. So that was number 13, and I technically end at number 14 with Tom Waits' Alice. Again, this album is just fantastic. The title track and Poor Edward are worth the price of admission. And Fawn at the very end is fantastic too. So I end at 14, but I wanted to show a couple things that are way beyond 14. Frank Zappa's Overnight Sensation. I have this version. I have a version where it's apostrophe Overnight Sensation. I have a version coming in the mail that it's a 5-disc set. This album is amazing, and I'll finally be able to hear it in 5.1. So that's 17. 18th album by an artist, Peter Hammill, Out of Water. This also is on the way to me because he remixed, re-recorded things. I'm so excited about that. Also, number 18, Enigmatic Ocean by Jean-Luc Ponty is his 18th album, according to Wikipedia. And the furthest out and the craziest, David Bowie's Black Star is my favorite David Bowie album of all time, and it is his 26th album. What the fuck? All right. Try to look up Metal Mickey's, Darcy, Mark G with a C. They've all done it. I think Darcy got to number 12. I can't remember where Mark got to. Sorry, guys. I don't remember. Like, one of you got to, like, 8 or something like that? 8 or 10? I don't know. I'll have to revisit. So, can you beat 14? Can you?